So it's very clear what's happening. The authorities are not doing what... It's clear that this protest wave is not going to disappear, despite what probably the authorities were hoping for. It's the 37th week, if I'm not mistaken, 37th day, sorry, not week, of this protest, and every day it takes a new form, so it's self-renewable in a way. And it's very clear. Today I've seen that 120 organizations signed a common letter to me asking me to put a veto on the law and not to have any small modifications, which now is a new gimmick about this law, because the law per se is unacceptable. It's not modifiable, it's unacceptable because it reflects a turn of the Georgian attitudes towards the civil society, towards the media, and towards the recommendations of the European Commission that are not consistent with what is our declared policy of going towards European integration.
You said you will veto the law, but the Georgian dream has the capacity to override the veto. But yes, will you?
That's true of many of the laws that I vetoed until now, since the declaration I made that I would veto all the legislation that goes directly against the spirit or the letter of EU recommendations, because that's my duty under the Constitution to make everything in my capacity possible to support the European integration and to consolidate it. So I'm exactly in that position. Today we are halfway between the candidate status that we got in December and the possibility at the end of the year of getting the opening of the accession negotiations. At this point in time, and the session of the Parliament ends end of June, the Parliament should be working day and night to satisfy the recommendations that we have on the table on the justice reform, on the corruption agencies, independence and things like that. And instead of that, instead of doing what is expected from us, the Parliament is working on a law that was rejected last year, that all our partners, European partners, have said that it's not consistent with the European values and European objectives. So it's very clear what's happening. The authorities are not doing what the country expects, and the country is reacting because the country wants Europe and wants not to lose the possibility at the end of the year of seeing the opening of these accession negotiations.
This moment for the South Caucasus.
Well, that's again the same question, whether by doing what they're doing, the authorities here are taking the initiative or are reacting to pressure from Moscow. It's very difficult to know what's happening behind the closed doors and what is a part of their initiative and what is a part of Moscow. It's clear that Moscow is not seeing with lots of appreciation this accelerated path of Georgia towards the European Union, but whether they are directly affecting the decisions of the authorities and meddling in detail or not, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. The interest of this country is to go as fast as possible toward the European Union, and that's what the whole of the country knows, because they all know, and that's why we have 85% in favor of the European Union, including the supporters of Georgian Dream, and that's why they're trying to say, well, we'll do that also. But because everybody knows that the independence of Georgia, its future as a state, is linked to its European future. Opening of the accession negotiations. At this point in time, and the session, it's very clear that the South Caucasus has moved away from the Russian influence. Azerbaijan has moved closer to Turkey, although it has maybe a different approach in its relations, but Armenia is moving and has been approaching with the European Union, and I always say that Europeans should also pay more attention to Armenia, but clearly their way goes our way. So much will depend on how Georgia consolidates its European position. And all of that is very essential for the Black Sea. We see that the focus of the Ukraine war is now more on Crimea and on the Black Sea than it is on the eastern parts. And that is the real game is happening around the Black Sea. Who is going to control it? And that, of course, for us and for Europe is very essential. All of that is very essential for the Black Sea. We see that the focus of the